Eh, eh, eh. Sister Fire and a fireman. Sister Fire and a fire done. Eh, eh, eh. Baba Shango, we call on you. We don't know how we get through. We need your fire deep in our souls. Lightning and thunder, help it to grow. Baba Shango, don't waste no time. Can you feel the beat in this heart of mine? Fire dance, fire dance, fire dance with me. 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 Look like your enemy coming to take you away. Nothing is happening, nothing is happening each time you pray. Lost your fire. Waste your time marching, it don't make no change. People still wearing invisible chains. Where are you, warrior? It's electric flowing through my veins. It's electric flowing through my veins. Babylon is falling, just watch it fall. The demons are burning, burn them all. Their flesh is rotting, melting fast. They can't do nothing, not meant to last. Fire dance, fire dance, fire dance with me. 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 Baba Shango, we call on you. We don't know how we'll get through. I can feel his heartbeat right next to mine. Baba Shango, will you be mine? Feel the drum bum ba ba dum bum bum ba ba dum bum bum ba ba dum bum. Feel the drum bum ba ba dum bum bum ba dum bum bum ba ba dum bum. Feel the drum bum ba ba dum bum bum ba ba dum bum bum ba ba dum bum. Feel the drum bum ba 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 bum ba 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 bum ba 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 bum. Baba Shango, fire dance, fire dance, fire dance with me. 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 Sister Fire, the lava baby, it's the fire starter. Don't know see it. You don't know Afrodeity stone. So go on, please it. Come on. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies, and I am grateful. I was standing at the edge of the ocean, listening to the waves recite Al-Fatiha, when a Native American Indian chief approached me and said, "Fly with me on the wings of this eagle." I saw my stepfather chopping my cherry tree, and I was reminded of a time when I was innocent. I was innocent. That's what my son said right before I watched the tan door lock behind him, and I was reminded of a time when he was innocent. When I bathed he and his brother and sister in the essence of knowledge of self, and I said, "My children, talk is cheap, yet we pay every day by the words that we say. And where are our freedoms? Locked away? Like the incarcerated minds of new age slaves, ranting and raving about change when that's the only thing that stays the same." I kissed the lips of hypocrisy and dance the dance of mediocrity, only to realize the truth is deep within my soul. The fact that I can autonomously create absolutely blows my mind, to the point that I see matter disseminate before my eyes. Are you surprised? See, sometimes I relate as African or American or Jamaican, but even if you strip my melanin, I'd be black. My soul is black, but I'm not putting any other race under attack. I just want what's mine's back. I digress. Marcus Garvey said he wouldn't trade an island for a continent, and I wouldn't trade all my money in the world for all my good sense, because right is right. I want my grandchildren to grow up in a world where to think it is to be it. With all the reasons that I could think of to fight, I can think of more reasons to choose words that build life and to strengthen my alliances through libation, prayer, and meditation. I truly know now, so I say unto you, abracadabra, go forth and be powerful in the knowledge that you are more than human. You are more than human. They say, hey Aphrodite, how you do that there? Be flipping cards like birds, catching wreck in the air. Be chanting words like verbs, the vibration is rare. Connected to the ancestors, my connection is clear. Oh man, my name, Sammy Evan Lucky. From them ears, pan me, them no send me na care of fucking. Original root, y'all. From 19 along, me carry big gun ting, but me not chatting and no song. Me carry enough weed, enough guns, juke enough y'all, drink enough rum. And look for me friend them, down a cemetery. The bandy ghetto youth, not for them dead and buried. I have to change my life. I have to change my life and do what's right, and do what's right. I had to do it for myself. I had to do it for myself, lioness. I had to do it for myself. You got to do it for yourself.
Hello, hello, hello. To go forward in their life, and they don't know where they're going, but they know they're ready to make that change. They know that they have been seeking change. They know that they have put themselves under so much pressure to make this change, and knowing that, to some degree they feel like it's not easy, and no matter what types of valleys and hills they have been seeking, they have been unable to go forth, and they keep going round and round this wheel, this wheel of change, this wheel of knowing. They just keep going around and around, and they haven't figured out that the change they've been seeking all along is within them. So I must tell you, that when you are seeking and growing and seeking, you must remember to salute your growth. And by saluting your growth, I exactly mean that. Pay reverence to your growth. Know that your growth is not just you just being in your own head. Know that your growth has come with much consideration. Know that your growth is just going beyond where you've been. And if you know where you've been and you know what you've been looking for, and you have went around in the circle, but you do not seek anything else but just knowing your growth. So this is a very, very, very short message to you to awaken in your growth. And I'm going to say at least 5 to 6 simple tips of growth right now. Seek and gain greater. inner dependence. Grow by gaining inner understanding. Grow by developing your creativity. Grow and establish order. Grow by being helpful and considerate to yourself. In the words of the most wisest one of you, salute your growth. Go forward and be the sun, the moon, and the stars, because you are these. And there's nothing else for you to question. And know that you are the one. They have links below if you're looking for a reading, a session, or a consultation. You may DM me for any one of those. Like, subscribe, or share this video. And just know that you are being sent a message of comfort. And know that you have been called to just be saluting your growth. The music is not my music. It is Afrodeity Stones. Check her out. I will leave a link for her page, for her website at the bottom of this YouTube live here. And just know that also that saluting your growth is more than a to-do. It's more than a checklist. Saluting growth is going beyond and knowing your understanding, your overstanding. And when I am saying to you to be understanding, to know understanding, it is the point where you just stopped in the position of where you are and you acknowledge your feet and you acknowledge yourself and you no longer hide. You no longer hide because you are the one you seek. No more hiding. No more hide and seek. You just seek. You seek you. You understand what you like to do. You understand. And when you get to the understanding, the difference between understanding, obviously, is you're under it. And you're viewing it from a position from, instead of being above it, you're under it. If you're understanding, you're within, you're looking within, you're searching within, you're knowing some things that you don't like about yourself. You see that you begin to grasp those and hug those and grab them with two arms of strength. And when I am telling you that this strength that you seek is not going to come from anyone else but you, when I am saying that to you, I am saying that you are ready. You are ready because you know the seeking you've been doing. You know how much pain you have experienced. You know the pain you have experienced. You have never experienced pain like this before, and you have grown through that. If you don't know that you haven't grown, then let me tell you something. One clue is that you no longer feel all that hatred. You no longer feel all that depression. You no longer feel anger. You no longer feel like someone is stepping upon you and you can't get them off of you. You no longer have those battles. That when you are battling these new things that you battle, you have a source of power. You have a source of strength that you know runs within you. How can you therefore keep giving permission to others who do not own parts of you? You are the one that you seek. These words will not change that the one that you seek is you. If you know that you can hear this, then you know what growth can be. If you know that if you're giving yourself consideration, that you're giving self consideration beyond the point of disgust, that you have considered yourself above everything. If you know that consideration is that you can hear what you're speaking to yourself. Thank you. Peace at Russ says peace. Like, you must know that consideration for oneself is beyond the regular bounds of what you've been seeking. It's saying the beyond is in, it's becoming like the infinity and beyond. And if you know that within growth you gain understanding of self, that's the second tip that I just stated 2 minutes ago. That if you grow by gaining understanding, so understanding, and then you're going to understanding. And when you reach the understanding, you just realize what you are becoming and who you are becoming. That you have searched so many times for things that you know that were not yours. You're searching for things that don't belong to you. And that no matter what you do, you keep coming back to knowing that everything you've been seeking is you. Everything that you've been hoping for is you. Everything you've been giving your knowledge to is you. There is nothing outside of you that cannot be explained without you. What you're seeking is just not outside of you. And it's not going to be a hard jump to know this. It's not a big leap. You just become the growth. You become the salute of what you're going through. And I say more so what you're growing through. Growing through what I'm understanding right now is not just the biggest mystery. That growth that you seek is not a big mystery. You've been told that it's so hard to get there and it's so difficult to get there. It is not. You know who you are. You know who you've become. You know what you're doing. Why would you turn a blind eye at where you are? Why would you turn a blind eye to your feet that you are standing upon? The only way to submit into a blind eye is because you can at times feel doubt. You can at times feel fear. And I'm going to tell you, as you practice with this growth of understanding and understanding that I speak of, that fear will subside. As you do the things that fear you the most, and you practice at doing the things that fear you the most, you will gain confidence. Your confidence will soar. And when I'm saying your confidence and soar, it will soar, this is where I'm saying you salute your growth. So the first tip in that I said tonight, right now, at this moment, is seek and gain greater independence. So if you're going to seek and gain greater independence, independence, that word itself is in. The first two letters are in the inside, independence. You're becoming, not dependent upon others to give you that insight. You can seek them for advisement, but in the end, it's all your decision. That this independence that you're seeking, no one can give it to you. I'm gonna tell you, no one. They can show you how they've gained their independence, but no one can give you this independence that I speak of. So you, at much turns you start to establish yourself as a leader. And if you know anything about being a leader, you know you must be in the leader's role. You must be in the leader position. You must lead yourself. You must lead your life, because we're talking about you right now. We're having an intimate and personal conversation about you. And this intimate and personal conversation involves you establishing yourself as a leader in your own life. You may get advisement. The advisement will only be that. It'll be advisement. It'll be shared stories. But you will come back to yourself and look at your own story and embrace the leader you are becoming. And the only way I can tell you this, and the only reason why I'm saying this to you, is because I've experienced it. And when I say, seeking and gaining a greater independence, this is where you hit a crossroad and you feel like you don't know what to do. And when you just quiet yourself and you sit with how you're supposed to get out and get ahead, or get ahead of this situation. And when I'm saying get ahead, the get ahead that I'm speaking of is you have an overstanding of the situation. You go above your current situation and you view it from a point of a foolish point, almost, to some extent, because you have to be almost willing to be foolish about jumping in with who you are, because in the in the in the most extravagant game of your life, you might have to go to the edge. You've already been to the edge, so it won't be like this is something new. This will be something that you totally know about. How many times have you stepped at the edge knowing that you need to go and dive into this next part of your life and you have not done so? And you know that you've been calling yourself to do so. And you know everything is calling you. You can feel it. It won't matter that you avoid it. It won't matter. You can try and avoid it. I could tell you. Avoid it if you want to. You could try it. And then it's still going to bring you back. I'm going to tell you. Life is going to bring you right back to that point. Like right back to that point of gaining a greater understanding and an understanding and an overstanding for who you are. Stand above your situation and just look at it from a different aspect. You can't, you could try to look at it from where you at and look within. But if you get above a situation and you stand on top of a situation, that means it's under your feet. That means you can view it from different avenues, different views, different standpoints, different points that you've never considered before. When you are getting these new these standpoints that you haven't viewed before, you start seeing, and not just seeing with your eyes, you start knowing that this is you. And like it or not, you begin to even more so start to feel like you can avoid the self-clutter. If you know anything about clutter, it's all of this space that's got so much in it that you can't even breathe, you can't think. You putting so many thoughts in your head. You letting all the thoughts run at one time. You're not giving yourself a break. You're not giving yourself no kind of leeway. Life has done you like that the whole time. Why would you want to put more pressure on you than what you have right now? Why would you give yourself added pressure? Unless you specifically just in to treat yourself like a victim. So I'm gonna tell you, like, you stand real close to the line when you're doing that. You stand so close to the line that you know that you're there. And you know that you're there because you have that sinking, gut wrenching feeling that you have done all that you can do, and you running in which every way. You have no clear thought, you have no clear path, and there's more in the picture. So when I am saying this to you, seek and gain greater independence, it's becoming an established leader. Become a leader of your words. Lead your Let your words lead you. I'm not telling you to say words for other people to hear you. I'm telling you that because I'm even speaking to myself, reminding myself that I am seeking and gaining greater independence. Period. I'm going to avoid and not use the self clutter. I'm gonna push the easy button. I don't need it. Like I no longer need or have use for having self clutter. So if you know you have no more use for self clutter, you become the ruler of your kingdom, of your queendom, of your space. You become the pirate or the captain, the admiral of your ship. Notice I went and jumped from things to let you know that these are all leadership roles that I'm speaking of. And when I tell you to grow by gaining understanding or understanding, that is the truth of truths. And it's only the truth that you seek. If you have ever been in a position of being abused, that you have known that you have not been leading, you've just been going along with the flow, you haven't been wanting to test the boundary and say no more, and you feel like you shouldn't say anything, but you know you should about who you are and where you going. If you need to use your voice to say so and you haven't, if you've been a kid all your life and you've been picked on, squashed about, ruxed about, pushed about, downtrodden, then it's about time that you gain some understanding and grow with that. It's about time that you know that all those things that you went through as a kid and as a young person, and even if you're going through it now, that's what makes you today. That's what makes you who you are right now. For you to feel ashamed that you had to go through any of that is a very significant and important key. That key that I'm speaking of right now is a key that will unlock this leadership in you. Being a leader of your own life, leader of self. And the only way you're going to get to be a leader of self, well, one of the many ways, we're going to say this, one of the many ways is knowing thyself, knowing who you are. If you know who you are, you know what you like, you know what you don't like, you know what you're going to stand for, you know what you're not going to stand for. You know where you're going, even if you don't know the whole route. You just need to know where you're going. And that's it. No one can question you about where you're going. They can, but you don't have to answer them. And to be honest with you, it's none of their business. If you want to seek and find and seek and find, and I'm only talking about you. I'm not talking about you going to other people and telling them to tell you what you look like in their eyes. Because then you're going into something else. See, then you're worrying about how they view you, how they giving you the views, how they stepping across your path, how they giving you comfort, how they going on with the going on, and you don't want to hear anything else but that. All you want to hear is about how you are viewed in their eyes. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. Everyone would be some having some type of enjoyment of knowing that who they are gives comfort to someone else. That part I'm not speaking about. I'm talking about the part of you that you've seeking your permission for yourself. You seeking it from other people. The permission that you seek is you. You're the only one that should be given permission as to your situation or to who you are. So making a stand, standing for who you are, standing in who you are, standing in your truth, standing with your own 2 feet. Now you can't put no one else's feet on your situation. And you wouldn't want to, be honest with you. You wouldn't want to do that, because if you were to do this, you would just find yourself, turned about upside down. You seeking and wondering. You didn't got mind clouds, mind fogs. And you've been wondering, why am I going through this? So the very fact that you're asking why is the real truth of the matter, is that you actually don't know. You have no clue why you're going through this. You have no clue. You have no clue as to why you're going through this. And that is the exact part of leadership, and not only avoiding clutter, but cleaning out clutter within you. The fact that you don't see these patterns that are running over and over in your life. The fact that you've been avoiding these patterns is the other significant key here. You avoiding these patterns because you don't want to deal with them, but they still keep coming around. Step into leadership. Step into the leadership, which is see what the patterns are and what they look like. And I'm going to tell you, once you start seeing patterns like this that are in your life, that you always seeming to find yourself in mess, that you always finding yourself in a trouble, that you always finding yourself in a storm, that you always feeling like you're about to fall off of your feet, that you've already always fallen. Once you see what that is, that's an understanding. And once you see, more importantly, that you're not going to be allowing yourself into those type of situations, that is called understanding. You taking a direct role of the leadership that you have over your life and for yourself. Now, I can tell you, it's going to be hard, and I can tell you that. I could also say this: the easiest part about just knowing a pattern is there is number one, you need to be able to look at it. That's the easiest part. Look. Just look. And then the second part will be seek. It's right in front of you. It's in your path. You've been acting and pretending as if to step over it, and it still is in your path. Look, now if you want to say that you have come to the best understanding of that you can view, then pass that up. Know that this path that I'm speaking of requires you to stand. It requires, you will require yourself to stand. You will require yourself to gain greater independence. You will require yourself to be a leader of your life. Why would you want to wander aimlessly and let someone lead you by the nose? Lead you by a smell, lead you by some feelings, lead you by your emotions. What I'm speaking of has has absolutely nothing to do with anyone doing any of these. It really comes back to you taking the leadership role and standing. You must to some degree know that it has come to this. It has come to this because it's coming around again and again. And for the thousandth time in your life, you have been trying to figure out for the life of you why you have not been able to stand. Look at these patterns. Are you meeting the same types of people? Are you putting yourself in the same types of environment? You haven't ventured out past your little part of the neck of the woods because you feel you most comfortable. Do you know when I'm gonna tell you, like, on many times that I have stepped out, I'm gonna just tell you from my view of what I've been able to experience. The many times that I have stepped out of the comfort zone and went and did some things that are not within my comfort zone, like going hiking in the woods by myself. Do you know how much understanding I got from that? So first of all, I'll need to make sure that I have a compass because that might be the wherewithal. So I'm gonna share this story. So I go hiking in the Sequoia National Park. It's in California, and I meet. First of all, I meet for one of my many sessions of where I'm speaking with somebody and we're doing consultation. And after the consultation is over, I I say, you know what? I really just want to experience nature at this point. I want to breathe in all of this just peaceful surroundings. I'm taking a leadership role in my life right now. At that moment, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm sensing. And I'm only talking about my own feelings, my own sensing. Do you know that I wondered uh, exactly? I wandered at least mm, maybe about 2 miles. And I'm being generous right now when I say that. I went out about 2 miles in the middle of Sequoia National Forest. Now, you know, there's all kinds of animals out there because while you're walking out there, you can hear them. That's the other part. And when I get to the spot where I'm about to meditate, I can hear, the cracking of the wood, something standing and wandering around about me, but I can't see what it is. And I just say to myself, you know what, self, look, if you're about to go out because of an animal out here in the woods, well, that's just the way it's gonna be. Because I at this point I had already been in too many situations where I had not stepped out to experience anything new. I became very comfortable with my surroundings, and I said I'm going to make a change in my surroundings. I must do this because I'm not about to be in the same position I was last month. I was a year ago. I wasn't 10 years ago. I was 5. There is no way I'm going back to any of that. And I knew in that moment that that was my time to take a leadership role in my life. And I stood up and I sat down and I said, I'm just going to meditate from here. And I must tell you, the sounds of the whole forest and that crackling sound that I heard of not regular human feet, what you consider human feet when you know it's an animal, that stopped. You can tell me that that was just a coincidence and this and that. That wasn't a coincidence. That animal that was out there could have totally came in and tore me apart. So if you don't know by now what this possible animal was, I'm very sure to tell you it was a bear. So when you are ready to do these types of things, you gonna run some major risk. I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna run the biggest risk you have ever took in your life to advance forward and grow yourself and be in growth and be standing in a leadership role. It's gonna be some leaps and bounds. But once you take that leap and you take those bounds and you go beyond those bounds that you have purposely placed around yourself to not give you the support that you needed, you putting the bounds there because you feeling like you don't have enough support around you. Now you can use these bounds in the other way and get these people or beings and situations away from you. As you do that, as you go into this other direction that I'm speaking to you right now about, you're going to have major power. And when I tell you the magnificent and the feelings of that power to make a determination that I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be in this moment and I'm going to meditate. I meditated for 2 hours. I'm going to tell you now, that's the longest meditation I have ever done. That's the first part. That meditation awakened so many things within me. The confidence of going in the woods. Let's just get it, just get it down to just the humanistic part. The confidence of knowing that I was going to be all right. The confidence of knowing that the man told me before I walked down into the woods where I walked at, he said, follow the trees down and follow the river back. It flows right to this point. So listen, that was detail. That was detail. He gave me very detailed information before I walked into these woods. He said, follow the logs down and the river back up because you will find where you started. You will find where you started. So if you take a leadership role and step into this bounds of where you're going that you have not gone before, you're going to mark your path a little bit. You're going to mark some breadcrumbs along this path so you can get back to where you started. And you can, and I'm only telling you that piece because this is for you to be able to share with somebody that's getting ready to go through what you went through and you're done with it. You're finished with it. You're on to the overstanding of it. So everything I just said in the whole piece about going into the forest and being in the forest and not knowing where I was and then realizing what the man had told me before I walked down and went through and coming back. It's funny because when I got in there and did the meditation, I was done. I totally knew I didn't know where I was. And I must tell you, I was not scared. I was not scared. I didn't have fear about where I was. Even when I heard the crackling of the trees and the leaves and the branches and what I heard. Fear was not there. I just said, look. Now I know what he said. He said, follow the big sequoias. And I don't know if you've been to Sequoia National Park, but I must tell you that the trees are extremely huge. And where I was, many trees had fallen down and they were huge. They would be as big, if not bigger, as a car and long as a diesel, if not longer. So where I was, you can really just say there was fallen trees everywhere. And I really remember being in that moment and thinking, you know what, if this is what, if this is what life is going to come to, it's going to come to this because I'm not about to go back to doing any of the things that I did before. I'm ready to jump into the new. And I'm not just talking about the NEW. I'm talking about the KNEW of this life, of this stance, of where I'm at. So the other part, the other step where I was is I majorly went into growing by developing my creativity at this point. Look, I had to be creative enough to just remember, first of all, the man said the river. He, listen to it for the river. you know. I'm not a hiker. That's the major thing here. I'm not a hiker. I've hiked. Don't get me wrong, but I am not what you would deem a hiker. First of all, I didn't take a compass. Second of all, I had little items on me. I didn't have any food. I had one vegan free cookie in my bag. In that moment, I exactly just said, look, I'm gonna walk toward where the river is. Now, mind you, I don't know where it's at, but I heard it. And I heard go toward the river, because this is what the guy just told you. He told you that because it's time that you need to go toward this river. It's time because you've been trying to go around and figure out other ways to do this without just going and growing through yourself to get there where you're going. You've been avoiding using your own compass. You've been avoiding not coming within yourself and knowing you got the power and the confidence to grow. You've been avoiding that you know that you are developing some major skills, and you just haven't figured out enough to just say to yourself that I am in the direction where I need to be. Where I know I'm here. When you get to this point, you feel so much power and confidence that it gets like your mind gets blown out the water, because you just like, man, I knew this was for me. So you figure out your creativity, your ability to be creative, the ability to listen. That's the other part now. You know, you can't do you could do this without listening. You could try it. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna work very slowly. But you must listen to your inner voices, your inner voice. Look, and I'm not talking, and I look now, we're not talking about some random voices here. We're not talking about none of that. We talking about some real growth seeking, understanding voice of self. That this type of growth and development can make you feel like, can give you the sense that you have power. Look, and I'm not talking about the power somebody is giving to you. I'm talking about you growing and developing your own power, your own creativity. As you practice at being creative and saluting your greatness, saluting your natural greatness, because that's what the title is of this whole piece that I'm doing right now. When you're doing this, when you know you're growing and developing your creativity, your chest, I'm gonna tell you right now, your chest gonna be stuck out so far. Your ability to see through things will become even more sharp. Your ability to know that if something is for you, you're gonna know real quick. You're not gonna hesitate. Your hesitation level is going way down. Your ability to just know and see and do is going to be real fast, because you're reacting within the space of knowing and confidence. And I must tell you, even if you feel so confident and it doesn't work out, you still going to be like, you know what? I wouldn't change that for nothing. Yeah, maybe I change a couple of things, but you know what? I got what I needed out of that situation. Just know that these is all situations. You in a land of situations. You get to make the choice of which situation you shall be with and which situation you're not going to go with. So no matter what these labels is running around, and you know labels, you know who I'm talking about when I say labels. Your friends, your family members, your best friend. Some of these beings are not going to know. Some of these people are not going to know what you're talking about. Number one, I'm going to tell you right now, they might say you're a little crazy for going and doing such crazy things. How dare you grow? How dare you develop your mind? How dare you be creative? How dare you seek an understanding? How dare you gain understanding by knowing who you are? How dare you seek greater independence? How dare you just know your natural greatness? How dare you seek that? And I'm going to tell you, yes. How dare you seek that? You seek that. You seek that because you know what it's worth. Once you start doing these types of activities and you start practicing them, your worth and your understanding and your knowing will become off the charts. You're going to know where to go. You're going to know who to talk to. And even if you don't, you're going to get led there. And you're going to try and figure out, how did I get here? And you're going to know the steps. It's not going to be where you forgot the steps. You're going to know exactly how you got there. Every single time you done been in a situation that wasn't up to your liking, when you go back in your mind, you pretty much know how you got there. You really know how you got there, and you know what the steps were you did to get there. And I'm not telling you that for you to be ashamed of the things you've done. Excuse me. Look, now, this is not about shaming you. This is not about for you to get exposed. We beyond exposing you. This discussion is not about exposure that you got to go and tell everybody. And this is nothing near that. This is the path that you've been seeking and you've been desiring, and you know you're ready to grow and develop your mind, your creativity, your you can say spiritual enlightenment. You can say my understanding. You can say my understanding, my revolution of independence. These words that I'm speaking right now are exactly about the power that you will have and the ability you have to speak over what you are as a being and a soulful person or persons in your environment. And I must tell you that this does not come to you just so lightly at first. You're going to get deterred. You're going to see people for what they are. People going to start telling you things that you would never think they would tell you to deter you, to keep you from going on that path. They going to tell you the most craziest of things to keep you from being in a position of leadership for yourself, because you've been handing over your leadership the whole time. And they know you have. They know you've been handing over leadership, that you haven't been established and growing and knowing that you are the order that you seek. So when I am discussing to grow and establish order, I am talking about you just being responsible for yourself. Being responsible means you take accountability for how you want to run your feet, how you want to choose your decisions, how you want to grow in your life. Establishing order just means just that you are not going to allow any more chaotic or chaos individuals in your path, that you're not going to deal with chaos. When you're establishing leadership and growth and understanding and overstanding and understanding, it requires you to establish order. That's a self-explanatory deal there. You can avoid many downfalls by just doing what I just said. Just establishing some order in your life. Grow by bringing forth change. So your ability to grow by bringing forth change. Now here, look now. Now I'm not going to tell you it's going to happen overnight, but I'm going to tell you this, as you practice it, that you don't have to worry about who's coming and who's not coming. that you're gonna know everybody that's for you, that's down for you, they gonna be right there. They gonna encourage you. They're not gonna tell you not to go forth and not to further yourself and not to advance your mind. They're not gonna tell you that, because if they telling you that, they might be the wrong people for you. But maybe you like people tell you that you don't know what you're doing. It's your life, and they gonna tell you you don't know what you're doing with your life. That's how you know that this kind of conversation is for the birds. And I'm talking about the wee little birds that don't have nothing to do with you. What they're telling you is not have nothing to do with you. When you make the option of just being change and being in a leadership of change, you feel just a greater understanding, a greater knowing for who you are, and you love who you are. As you love who you are, you it won't matter what people tell you. You won't care, because you know you have reached a point of love for thyself. You must know that you are being considerate of your needs. And not only are you being considerate, but you're being uh, the saluter of your greatness. You're saluting your greatness. Excuse me. Now, look, now, I'm telling you, I'm just going to forewarn you, it's going to require some of these people to fall off of your life. You might even feel like you all alone, but I'm going to tell you this, you're not alone. There is many people, there's many beings out here who's growing in their life and wanting change and being the change. Excuse me. Look now. This right here is the section where you proceed to the best, highest degree of greatest, fantastic good for yourself. Highest degree of fantastic greatness for you. The highest degree. Do you know that's what that's going to do? That's going to create standards. It's going to create boundaries of beings that's not ready to go on that path. And look, I'm not saying they might not come back around. I'm saying for right now, you got to get on your good feet. You got to get to your understanding. Because you dragging this pony show around and it's not working for you no more. And the only way I can tell you is because I've experienced it. I've had to just let some things go that weren't for me. And I've been knowing the whole time they weren't for me. And you know what I had to do? I'm going to tell you what I had to do. I had to grow by being considerate of myself. If you know anything about consideration and being considerate for yourself, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't, as you start making these changes for yourself and being in that space, all the people that's talking against you at this point, you're going to know they're not for you. They may even tell you that never was for you. They may tell you some stuff that you just knew that possibly you thought they had something to do with it. And they finally came out and told you. They finally came out and told you how they just didn't really like you from the start anyway. You weren't their cup of tea, that they only used you for a certain amount of time because you had what they needed at that moment. So I'm going to tell you, c'est la vie. C'est la vie is such is life. C'est la vie is I no longer wish for you to be in my presence. C'est la vie is you know where you going and you do not care of which they speak. Look, I'm going to tell you, it might even hurt your feelings. But I'm going to tell you this, those feelings are going to be the least that they will ever be able to do to you again. Because you're not going to allow them type of beings around you anymore because you've learned. You've been schooled, as they say. in the area of self-worth. This whole speak, this whole speaking has only, it has more importantly just been around and been about getting uh, knowledge for self-worth, knowledge for knowing that you are much greater than you know, that you are loved beyond the stars of the multiverses of any world, any any realms, any portals, any multifaceted realms and understandings, that you are loved, that you are worthy of such love from yourself. How about you go to the drawing board and say, I love myself every morning when you wake up. I love the fact that I can lay on a pillow and enjoy the breeze and the birds chirping. I love the fact that I can look at my hand and know that I can use it. I love the fact that when I am sitting and I see the smallest of bugs walk up and they don't bother me, that's love for me. I got some, you got to give, this is some major mad love we talking about for self. Major mad love for self involves everything I've spoke about for the last hour. I want to thank you for being present. I want to tell you that you're the present. I want to tell you that if you be more in the present, you're going to see more than you want to see. And more importantly, you're going to see the avenues to which you need to go. You're going to get strength. You're going to be around the people that care for you. You're going to be around people that support you. They're going to come out the woodwork for you. They're going to cheer you on. They're going to make sure that you know your worth. Look, it gets down to the fact that, look, they gonna want you to know that you're worthy. They want you to know that you're worthy. They're not gonna do it because they trying to blow smoke up your butt. They gonna see the worth in you. More importantly, they gonna see how much you put into yourself. And that right there is the best you can do for yourself. That's the best route you can take. That's the best route. That's the best highest good for yourself. So this whole section has been about self-worth and knowing that how much you love yourself, how much that you love and the hard work that you are willing to put in for yourself, that extra mile you want to go. These are extra miles that you want to go for yourself. The extra mile you want to go for the self-worth, the extra mile that you will not be denied. You will not deny yourself from where you're going, where you are right now. I'm telling you, amongst all things that I'm telling you, your self-worth is priceless. The better you understand that, the more you get familiar with your natural greatness. And if you don't feel like you great enough, maybe you need to practice at that. Maybe you need to sit down and figure out what is the greatness about you. You don't, and you won't have to convince anyone of your greatness. That's the other thing. These people gonna know you great. They're not gonna care about how much money you make and when the last time you made a bunch of. That's that. None of this that I'm talking about involves materials, materialistic things. This self-worth, this salute for natural greatness that I speak of right now, those things go by the wayside. It is like you become the compass for worthiness. You become this because you're ready to have that as the leadership of who you are. So when you have a compass for self-worth, you have leadership, you have an understanding, you have an understanding, you have an overstanding. You can jump back and forth and know all the loops of those. You have gained more knowledge about your creativity. You don't scatter your energy where it doesn't belong. You're not scatterbrained. You're not scattering your energy. You are establishing order in your life. You are bringing forth change. You are growing by being considerate for yourself. So, as I always say, enjoy your sun, your moon, and your stars. There's going to be links down below if you need to have a consult, a session, or reading. DM me. And also, that the light in me honors the light in you. Look, the worthiness of myself of in just acknowledges the worthiness inside you. I'm going to now go to the other part of this matter. I am going to be playing a song by Sister Fire, uh, Aphrodite Stone. Her link will be in the box below. Um, you just gonna have to remember who you are and know that's who you are, and get very familiar because it's about that right place. So enjoy your new found leadership and stay loved because you deserve it.
Do you remember who you are? Do you remember that you lived amongst the stars? You might not believe just who I am. You might not believe it. You wouldn't believe it, yeah. I am a God, it's in the flesh. I made a deal to come down here and show you how to live your life to the fullest. Don't let life just pass you by. Do you remember who you are? Do you remember that you lived among the stars? Life's too short to be getting in your own way. Life's too short to be playing all these games. Life's too short to be getting in your brother's way. Life's too short. Let me say it again. Do you remember your past life? How do you know that you weren't a warrior who had to fight? How do you know that you weren't a king? You were a king. She was a queen. Do you remember who you are? Do you remember that you lived amongst the stars? Life's too short to be getting in your own way. Life's too short. Do you hear what I say? Hey, you, give me back my key. I put my heart on lockdown. You say you're tired of me. Well, why the hell is still hanging around? I ain't getting no better, baby. I think I might be getting worse. If you ask me, I'd say maybe it's got to be a love curse. Yeah, I got issues. I ain't lying, I ain't trying to deny. Yeah, I got issues. Baby, what's your excuse? You won't even take me out on the town. Say you don't really like to dance, but you know how I love to feel the groove. So why don't you just take a chance for romance? We ain't getting no younger, but our love gets stronger as we get our souls aligned. As I get much deeper, deeper, I don't know. Will I catch my breath in time? Hey, I got issues. I ain't lying, I'm through trying. Hey, I got issues. But baby, what's your excuse? No more excuses. Don't act like I'm useless. Not that type of girl. You knew what you were doing when the pot started brewing. When you stepped into my world, hey, I got issues. I ain't lying, I ain't trying to deny it. Hey, I got issues. Baby, what's your excuse? We got issues. I got issues. Yeah, we both got issues, babe. I ain't lying, I ain't trying, and I ain't trying to deny it, babe. I got issues. Better get your shit together. Peace, love, and oneness.